And a touchdown for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Hey all, Rick here from Hamilton Sports Central, and we have our first, I don't even know why I'm wearing those. We have our first ever battle of the QEW today, and what is Toronto's home game in Hamilton, just because of the World Cup. So even though they're playing at Hamilton Stadium, it is a home game for Toronto. Hamilton will be doing the away coin toss. Toronto gets half the revenue. And that's pretty much it. All of the in-games or in-house stuff will all be by the Ticats. And yeah, so we're going to go over both depth charts and the news and notes for the Battle of the QEW. So we're going to start with the away team, the Hamilton Ticats. Boundary wide receiver, Kenny Lawler. Usually Mitchell's in front of him, as you've noticed in the past couple of weeks. But with ratio reasons, Kenny Lawler is starting at that wide receiver spot. Next to him is Trevor Reed at left tackle, Brendan Revenberg at left guard, Liam Dobson and Chris Kolinkowski at center. Right guard is Nathaniel Dumoulin-Duguay, Quentin Barrow at right tackle, and then on the field side, wide receiver is Kedrick Wheatfall and Tyson Middlemost. Slot back on the boundary side is Keandre Smith and Isaiah Witten Sr. Fullback tight end, we have Antoine Milinovich-Litre, Maximin Mang, and Daniel Bell. We have Trey Ford starting this week with Jake Dolegala and Harrison Frost, who we signed earlier in the week as the quarterbacks. Larry Roundtree, and Johnny Augustine, as the running backs. Curly Gittins Jr. and Tyler Chernowski as the slot backs, and then Myron Mitchell as the other slot back. Kicker, we have Mark Leggio with Gordon White as the long snapper, Mitchell McCarthy as punter, and then Isaiah Wooden as kick returner and punt returner. For the defense side, we have Julian Hauser with Owen Hubert at the boundary defense end. Beside him, playing both positions if needed, if someone on the defensive line gets injured, will be Miles Fox, Kendricks Jr., and Notice at the other defensive tackle spot. And then on the field side defensive end, you have Philip Osai and Isaiah Bagna. With the linebackers for Hamilton, you have Crook, Young, and Gagnon, Ryan Baker, and Winton McManus, Reggie Stubblefield at the same linebacker position. And then secondary, it's Jamal Peters, Destin Talbert, Stavros Kachutonis with Robert Panabaker at free safety, Quintavian White as halfback, and Walton and Hayes at the corner slot. Over to the hometown team, the Toronto Argonauts. Boundary side, we have Reddy. To the right of him, Bland at left tackle, Ryan Hunter at left guard, Nicastro and Piazza as center, Shipley and O'Neill at right guard, Brendan Camp at right tackle, and then David Unger at the field wide receiver spot. As the slot backs on the boundary side, Mackay Polk and Demonte Kosi, Kazar and Paradias at fullback. You have Kelly, Arbuckle, and Horn at quarterback, Isaiah Smith and Samuel Hicks at running back, and then Kevin Mattal at slot back, and then Tyler Kuhlman and Miller at the other slot back position. For the boundary defensive end, you have Chatfield and Johnson, Tioa and Bell, Hawley at defensive tackle, Congo and Shand at defensive end, Goss with Raymond at weak side linebacker, Dark Angelo Limana and Mackenzie at middle linebacker, Pickett and Slywidka at Sam linebacker. And then with the secondary, you have Benji Franklin, Kazar, Bolden, Amos, John, McFadden, and Yoche. So, and then you have Laram Hararlahu as the punter. You have Burnip as the punter, and then Guli Mete as the long snapper. For the news and notes for today's first battle of the QEW, rivalry backs to the 1950s. This will be the 255th all-time regular season game between the Ticats and the Argos, dating back to 1950, and the merge between the Tigers and the Wildcats that created the Hamilton Club. The Ticats lead 145 wins to 107 all-time with 2 ties, and since 2024 have won 5 of 6 meetings. Toronto did win their last visit to Hamilton, however, it was a 35-33 win on September 1st, 2025. 6K passing yards. Chad Kelly's 1,804 passing yards and Davis Alexander 1,779 passing yards are both on early pace for more than 6,000 passing yards. That threshold has only been crossed 5 times in league history, last in 2004 by Anthony Cavillo, 6,041 yards. In 1993, both Doug Flutie, 6,092, and David Archer, 6,023 did so in the same season. Big plays. The Argos are on a roll. In 2026, created 14 big plays, long gainers of 30-plus yards via the pass. They're on pace to hit 50 at 30-plus this season. Last leader was BC with 41. Stavros Katratonis has recorded his 3rd interception of the season and leads the CFL entering Week 7 tied with Calgary's Zai Alexander. He's up to 15 in his career, which is tied for 6th most amongst the active players. TJ Lee, 29, Jamal Peters, 21, Amos, 21, Gary Peters, 19, Marcus Sales, 18, and Roland Milligan, who he's tied with 15. Denarian Gant kick return. Grant has yet another kick return in 2026. That makes it 7 seasons in a row with at least one, and only CFL player with that many consecutive seasons. Grant now has 14, one every 5.5 games, ranks number 3 all time, alone trailing only Henry, 31, and Bazir Livingston, 15 in total touchdowns on kick returns. Don't forget, Grant is not playing today. He's on the injured list. Larm Haralahu had a streak of at least one field goal made at 35 games in a row last week, when he went 0 for 2, missing from 40 and 45 outs. His 73.3% mark for 2026 ranks number 8 in the CFL, after making 89.6% for Toronto in 2004 and 2025, going 112 for 125. Keandre Smith, 50 straight games. Keandre continues his excellent play and now ranks number 6 in the CFL with 385 receiving yards in 5 games. He has an active 50-game reception streak, 3rd longest among all active players in the CFL. Amos 100. Argos DB Deshaun Amos faces his former team for the first time since signing with Toronto and is set to play in his 100th career CFL game. He records his first interception of the season in Week 6 versus Winnipeg. Trey Ford, the quarterback, the QB starter for Hamilton this week is uncertain at the time of writing. Likely Jake Dolegala, but if it is Trey Ford, that would end a gap of over 1 year, 370 consecutive days between this Saturday and his last start. That start came versus BC on July 13th, 2025, in which he was held to just 4 of 12 for 34 yards and 1 interception. Ford is 10 for 13 and 23 starts and is 1-1 versus Toronto. Over the last 2 games, he's come off the bench, ending a 16-game run without a single pass attempt. Ford is number 6 all-time after week number 6 among Canadian quarterbacks that have games started. Rux Jackson, 137. Frank Cosentino, 41. Nathan Rourke, 40. Don Getty, 37. Jerry Daltilio, 35. And Trey Ford, 23. Chad Kelly comes in with his 360.8 yards on average and 4 of 5 with 300 plus. And a run of 5 games with the multiple touchdown passing, duplicating Nick Arbuck's feat of last year. Kelly has his first interception-free game of 2026 last week. Multi-face star. Darius Pickett ranks number 10 in the CFL with 24 defensive tackles. And even more involvement, Pickett is also ranked in the top 10 in special teams with 6. What a difference. In their 2 wins, Toronto's opponents built just 5 scoring drives out of 30 possessions, 16.7%. In their defeats, Argo's opponents drove for a TD 12 times on 39, almost doubling the rate at 31%. 5 players at 900 plus yard pace. Argo's starting receiver corps is on fire with all 5 at 253 or more. That gives them a pace of 4 at 1,000 yards and 5 at 900 plus. Got to keep up the pace though. Better each week, Mekhi Polk has a season high 125 yards and continues to his upward trend since game number 2, 35, 65, 71, and 125 yards. For the season, he's on 378 yards and on pace for 1,300 plus yards. Julian Hauser has 1 sack in 3 of his last 4 games, is now up to 48 on his career. That is good for a tie for a place in the top 60 all-time in the elite group. First 3 versus the last 2, Hamilton's offense was electric through their first 3 games, averaging 35 points per game and recording a touchdown on 13 of 33 drives, 39%. Over the last 2 games, however, with the change at quarterback, their touchdown rate has dropped to just 4% on 1 of 27, and as the team scored just 20 points. They were held without a touchdown last week versus Saskatchewan. Frequent red zone trips. Toronto leads the CFL with 6 after 6 weeks with 23 trips in the red zone at 4.6 per game, and they turned 65% of them into touchdowns. So that's it for the news and notes. Do check out my channel. I'm going to have a review. I'm going to start doing reviews this week. Also, I'm going to be on the field with the analyst desk after the game. We're going to do a little post game on the field. So do check out that as well. But tomorrow I will be doing the live stream of the Montreal-Calgary game from earlier today. This game, the Toronto-Hamilton game, no matter who wins and who loses, that's going to be tomorrow. And also the Winnipeg and Ottawa game tomorrow. So it's going to be 3 games tomorrow, but I do appreciate everyone for stopping by and checking out this preview. This is Rick from Hamilton Sports Central, and have yourself a great rest of your day.